Divided We Fall by Dmitry Molotov. Chapter 1. Stray Bullets. The heist had gone to shit real fast. Well, faster than usual. The comms crackled over muffled cries and gunshots from outside the bank where the heist was going down. Ryan wasn't sure if the cops shot first or they did, but he was sure as hell not letting anyone get away with it. That's it. Everybody dies. Crouched just inside the bank's heavy wooden doors, Ryan positioned the RPG on his shoulder and angled it toward a cop car that had pulled up in range. He stepped out of his cover just long enough to launch the projectile and see it impact the car, ducking back behind the doors as it exploded into flaming wreckage. Jesus, Ryan, a little warning next time, please. Gavin's nasal British accent squawked in Ryan's ear. He could see Gavin's scrawny figure hunched over, carefully darting between police cruisers, discreetly placing sticky bombs on the unsuspecting officers' vehicles. Sorry, Gavin, Ryan called back in a sing-song voice that most definitely didn't sound as if it had come from beneath the black skull mask he wore. The sirens wailed louder as another car pulled up to the scene. Jeff sounded exasperated over the comms. Is Ryan pulling a Ryan again? Yeah. Jeremy's voice was calm and even as he called up positions. Another car pulling up. 3 officers getting out. An exhalation, followed by a shot. 2 officers inbound. Jeremy was sniping from the adjacent roof, where the last rays of light from the setting sun behind him provided an extra layer of cover from being spotted as he picked off cops who got too close. Great. Just what we need, muttered Jeff. Hey, they're gonna be after us anyway. Might as well be for more than one reason. Ryan's bulletproof logic. Besides, he added, we're the fake AH crew. We have a reputation to uphold. Jeff just shook his head, and Michael giggled a little at his response. Jeff and Michael were in the vault room of the bank, Jeff having subdued the staff, leaving a few hostages for collateral should they need it. He doubted it at this stage. Well, keep 'em out of our hair. We're almost there. Meanwhile, Ryan could hear Jack in the getaway car around the corner, talking Michael through cracking the mechanism of the safe, and Michael muttering something about just using C4 and destroying the joint. It was a cacophony, but the crew were familiar with the sounds of gunshots and screaming, and even amidst the chaos, they were able to tease apart each other's voices and stay on top of it. It was almost second nature by now. All right, boys, we are in, Michael declared gleefully, followed by a collective cheer from the crew, punctuated with a few more gunshots and another explosion from Ryan's RPG. Good job, Michael. I'll grab the cash, you set the charges, meet you around the back in 5. A few tense minutes later, Jeff emerged with a duffel bag full of cash. He gave Ryan an almost imperceptible nod, which Ryan returned, before slinging his RPG over his shoulder in favor of a more compact assault rifle, and sprayed controlled bursts of suppressing fire into the cops outside the bank. All right, Jack, we're coming out. Be ready, Jeff instructed over the comms. Got you guys covered. Jeremy's radio crackled with the sounds of rifle fire as Ryan saw more cops collapse outside as 3 more police cars arrived at the scene. Jack pulled up right to the front door, brakes of the custom Roosevelt screeching, causing 2 more cops to dart out of the way to avoid getting hit. The second only narrowly missed being dragged under the front wheel. Ryan reached the car first, slid over the hood, shooting the slower cop mid-slide. Jeff tossed in the bag of cash as he checked everyone's location. Michael, what's your position? Gavin, Jeremy, keep calling them. Got eyes on shit down here. Michael was the first to respond. We're rigged and ready to blow, Jeff. No evidence, no witnesses. Well done, my boy, Gavin exclaimed over the comms, quickly followed by, Ryan, watch your 5. Ryan spun around and fired just in time to take out one of 2 armed officers. The other fell to the ground, having been shot by Jeremy. Damn it, Gavin, that was my 7. Sorry, Ryan. His voice mirrored Ryan's sing-song tone from earlier, and Ryan briefly wondered if it may have been an intentional mistake. "Got you covered," Jeremy piped in. Ryan threw the bag in the car, followed by his RPG, and jumped in after, throwing the opposite door open for Jeff. "All right, Michael, when Gavin and Jeremy are ready, blow it." Jeff turned to get into the car, but suddenly he staggered forward, grimacing in pain. Something was wrong. Ryan pulled him into the car, reaching over to close the door behind him. "Shit! Goddamn motherfucker! I'm hit!" Jeff hissed through clenched teeth. He was bleeding from the thigh. He'd been shot, but Ryan couldn't make out by whom. "Jack, drive. Get Jeff out of here," Ryan instructed, reloading his gun and sliding out the door. "Where are you going?" Jack called after him. "Ryan! God damn it, Ryan! Fine." The car sped off, leaving Ryan facing the bank rigged to blow, and the remaining cops sheltering behind their vehicles. "Ryan, what are you doing?" Gavin screeched over the radio. "You'll be killed." Ryan ignored Gavin. "Ready, Jeremy?" "Ryan, 4 to your left. I got the 2 on the right." 2 gunshots rang out in quick succession as Jeremy called out over the radio. "Ready. Gav, you ready?" "Ready," Gavin replied. Ryan spotted the 4 and pulled a grenade. "Any time now, Michael." "Yeah, boy. Gonna be a big boom. Be ready in 3, 2, 1. Ryan threw the grenade at 3, and the explosions rang out almost simultaneously as he hit the ground for cover. The front of the bank was decimated from Michael's charges, and the cop cars had detonated thanks to Gavin's sticky bombs. The heat from the blast was intense, but it looked like there was no movement from the cops. Through the smoke and heat haze, Ryan could see Gavin and Jeremy making their way down from the roof for extraction via a back alley. Michael would have already made his way out the back and should be getting collected by Jack. But Ryan's plan had now changed. His eyes darted around for an impromptu getaway vehicle, but anything parked close to the bank had been damaged or downright annihilated by the explosions. As he scanned, he saw Gavin's gangly frame dip out of view, followed by the shorter, stockier silhouette of Jeremy, followed by someone else. Shit. He bolted after them. "Jeremy, you've got a tail." Gunshots rang out in the alley before Ryan could reach it, but it wasn't Jeremy's rifle. Shit. Voices called out over the comms. Michael. "Who's shooting?" Gavin. "Where's Jeremy?" Michael. "Gavin, we gotta go, we gotta go." Jack. "We're moving. Ryan, Jeremy, get to cover or get out of here." Shit. Ryan skidded to a stop down the alley and found himself face to face with a man around his height and build, a little broader maybe, with tan skin, a shaved head, and dark eyes. He didn't look like a cop. Maybe a plainclothes officer? Undercover? Rival gang? Ryan didn't recognize him. He barely had time to contemplate before the stranger had a pistol aimed squarely at his chest. Ryan was thankful for his mask for the second time that day, as it hid the surprise on his face. He took a deep breath, considered his heavy body armor concealed beneath his jacket, and steeled himself as he raised his rifle anyway. 2 shots echoed through the alley, and Ryan stumbled backwards, feeling a rush of air and something sharp slide by his left shoulder. But it was the stranger who crumpled to the ground in front of him. "Ryan!" Jeremy's rifle barrel and head poked around the side of a dumpster further down the alley. "Are you okay?" "Yeah. You?" "Think so. He wasn't very fast. Told you gymnastics would come in handy someday." Despite joking around, Ryan could see he was shaken. "Who is he?" Ryan asked as he moved toward the man on the ground, blood still oozing from the fatal wound on his back. The sounds of approaching sirens made him start. Shit. We gotta get the fuck out of here. He quickly rifled through the man's clothes and pocketed his wallet before dashing to the far end of the alleyway. Jeremy climbed unsteadily to his feet and slung his rifle over his shoulder. "How the fuck are we meant to—" Another gunshot echoed down the alley, followed by the growl of an engine, and moments later Ryan returned on a ridiculously green motorbike. Jeremy raised an eyebrow. "Crew colors? Really, Ryan?" "Happy accident." Ryan grinned beneath the black skull mask. How did you... I don't want to know. Just get us out of here. He climbed on behind Ryan, and they took off, passing a body with a matching green bike helmet on the ground just outside the alley, the sound of sirens rapidly fading behind them. Jeremy sighed. Why does the getaway vehicle always have to be a bike? Ryan's calm buzzed static in his ear. Ryan? Jeremy? You guys okay? We heard more gunshots. Jack's voice faded in. We're good, Jack. Just had to shake a tail. We're on our way back. Jack paused. There's been a change of plans. Head to Safe House Cumstains. Ryan could hear the sigh in Jack's voice as he said it, and Michael and Gavin's giggles in the background, and found himself rolling his eyes. Jeff's okay, but someone needs to look at his leg ASAP. We'll meet you at the safe house after, Jack quickly added. Copy that. Meet you there. But that's the last time we let Michael and Gavin pick code names. Better go quiet on the comms from here on out. Still not sure where the tail came from. Right. Be careful out there. Jack's voice was replaced by static and then eerie silence. The pair rode on in silence for a few moments before Jeremy's voice drifted from over Ryan's shoulder. Ryan? You're bleeding pretty bad. No, He started before realizing that the throbbing pain in his left shoulder was a lot more severe than he initially thought. Now that the adrenaline was wearing off, the pain was kicking in, and he realized he must have been grazed by a stray bullet. The stranger in the alleyway had fired a shot after all. Unfortunately, his heavy body armor didn't protect his shoulder. Oh, well, it can't be that bad, since I didn't notice. But you might want to take over driving, just in case. The sun had begun to dip below the horizon, and the city was becoming enveloped in darkness. Good. That should make them decidedly harder to follow. By the time Ryan and Jeremy arrived at the safe house, it was dark, and Ryan was in really bad shape. His leather jacket was slick with blood down the left side, and his arm was almost useless with pins and needles. The pain was so constant it had begun to border on numbness during the hour it had taken to get to the safe house, a warehouse in a lumber yard in the Paleto Forest, north of Raton Canyon. They had tried to be careful to ensure they hadn't been followed, but with Ryan struggling to remain conscious, it had been difficult. Jeremy had kept talking to him to keep him from falling off the bike, asking him if he could see anyone following them, talking about his favorite video games and movies. Not that Jeremy had seen any of them. It was all small talk, but it had worked. All the safe houses were stocked with full first aid kits, and the whole crew was experienced in patching up minor wounds, so Ryan wasn't panicking yet. Jeremy helped him off the bike and into the warehouse. Ryan was taller than Jeremy, 6 foot to Jeremy's 5'4", but Jeremy easily took his weight, propping him up under his good right shoulder with an arm around his waist. Inside smelled of sawdust and mildew, and everything was covered in a fine layer of dust. There were 6 cots they kept permanently set up in an annexed room just off the main warehouse space, and Jeremy helped Ryan down onto the nearest one, despite his protestations that he was okay by himself. Seriously, dude? You nearly fell off the bike back there. More than once. Lay the fuck down. Jeremy went to fetch the first aid kit. For the first time since they left the penthouse, Ryan removed his mask. It was a signature of the Vagabond, the persona everyone knew as the most destructive member of the fake AH crew. Few people outside the crew had ever seen the Vagabond without his mask, and underneath, his face was a mess of black and white paint. Originally, Ryan had painted his face to prevent identification in case his mask was removed, but it had become a regular part of his routine, even on day-to-day jobs. The rest of the crew had originally found it extremely unsettling, which, realistically, was the desired effect, but over time they had grown used to it, and Ryan appreciated the distance it afforded him between the Vagabond and his true personality. Recently, however, he had altered the design from a black, white, and red full-face Harlequin-esque look to a more minimalist black and white skull design which covered less of his face and emphasized the icy clear blue of his eyes. It was more intricate, still intimidating, but less intense, and left him much more exposed. It was his subtle way of mirroring how over the years he had grown to trust the crew and show more of himself to them. He didn't know whether they had picked up on his obscure metaphor, but if anyone was to call him out on it, he would surely accuse them of overanalyzing it. When Jeremy returned, Brian was sitting up, struggling to take off his black and blue leather jacket with his useless left arm and his right slipping in the blood down his left side. Jeremy sighed and helped him, but Ryan kept trying to bat his hand away, muttering something like, "I got it." "You clearly don't, Ryan. Just let me help you. Jeez." Jeremy helped him out of his body armor, looking a little surprised at the weight of the chest plate. Jeremy usually kept to light Kevlar armor, even though he knew it was useless against rifle rounds. Ryan's head was swimming. The blood had soaked through his torn, dark gray t-shirt, although, with the faded Punisher logo emblazoned on the front, it seemed rather fitting. Damn, I knew I shouldn't have worn my good shirt today. "That's your good shirt?" Jeremy raised an eyebrow and grinned, only half joking. "It was clean, at least," Ryan retorted quietly, suddenly feeling the urge to sleep and trying to fight it. He struggled out of his shirt with Jeremy's help and inspected the wound. It was more serious than he had suspected. He suddenly considered himself very lucky. A few inches lower, and, well, it had torn open a gash on the top of his left shoulder, maybe 3 inches long, and it had opened so he could see the tissue and shiny tendons covering the bone beneath. He winced. "Ow. Oh, that's gonna need stitches." Jeremy had a wad of gauze ready and applied pressure to attempt to staunch the bleeding, but he cringed at the sight of it too. "We'll patch it up for now and get someone to look at it after the others get here. I hope Jeff's okay." Ryan was starting to gray out, but managed to ask, "Did you see who shot him?" The world got fuzzy and he closed his eyes, Jeremy's voice barely echoing in his head. "Hey, stay with me, man.